Alright, flat rate mechanic again, and I just wanted to go over a few tips that will help you replace your O2 sensor. Because a lot of times over the years, these things, between the heating up and cooling and the rust, a lot of times these like to get stuck inside the exhaust manifold or the exhaust itself. So probably first off, and probably the most important tip I can give you guys, is get the exhaust nice and hot before you attempt to remove this. And you don't necessarily need any torches or anything like that. Just run the engine for a while, hold the RPMs up to maybe 2000 RPMs for 5 minutes or so, and that will get that exhaust nice and hot, and that's going to aid in getting this out. Also, a lot of times you'll be able to break these loose, but they'll actually start to take the threads out as you pull it from the exhaust. The reason why is this ends right here will a little bit rusted inside the exhaust system there, so as you're threading it out, that those rusted up threads will tend to take the threads in the exhaust out as well. So what you want to do is just break it loose and then spray some penetrating oil down around there and just work it back a few times, and that's going to save your threads. Also, they have some pretty nice O2 sensor removal kits out there that you can find on Amazon or your tool truck, whatever you prefer. But I actually picked this one up from Amazon relatively cheap, and I will leave a link below where you can buy that. And it also comes with this thread chaser, so if you pull it out and it does damage the threads, you can run this back down through there. Before reinstalling it, you're always going to want to use some kind of anti-seize or carbide stuff. So most O2 sensors come with them as well. Also, I highly suggest you get an OE replacement or close to OE. Do not replace your O2 sensor with a universal O2 sensor where you need to sometimes they'll have the wires where you have to wire in your own pigtail connector. Those sensors are very problematic, and a lot of times will fail just due to the connection being poor where you spliced it in. So always opt for the OE style that has a correct connector on it, just to save yourself a lot of trouble down the road. And I think that's about it off the top of my head. But yeah, I mean, if it comes out hard, torches are very handy. They would heat up around the O2 sensor itself. And worst case scenario, if that thing just is not coming out and it takes all the threads, I have had to weld new O2 sensor bungs onto the exhaust. But that is worst case scenario. Hope this video was helpful. If you guys can think of any other tips or techniques on getting O2 sensors, please drop them in the comments below, and I will be sure to read them and maybe even do an updated video if I get enough response. But thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the Flat Rate Mechanic if you haven't already. Till next time, thank you.